Hi guys, welcome to chapter 3 of Ezekiel X Reader. I'm gonna start not putting chapter names, just the other chapters and their numbers. So let's get started with chapter 13. I may multitask because I'm literally doing some paper and doing this. So if you hear paper in the background, like this, it means I'm doing something. So let's start. You ran away from seeing growing group of paparazzi who were racing in your head. Why would he do that? Was it popularity? No. He wouldn't do something like that. So then why? You got back to your agency and tried to act composed. You cannot afford to make this worse than it already was. But suddenly upon getting through the door, your worker bombarded you with questions as well. Your knees felt like they were giving in to make you crumble to the floor. But thought it was all, but you didn't. After having a dodged question, you made it to your own office. You were not going to stay any longer, and if Izuku caught wind of the news, oh boy. Izuku had been doing his rounds and patrolling when he could. Learning from All Might himself, he usually hid himself to avoid any unwanted attention. He even came across a TV store with lots of people rolling around. He would have wondered what this all commotion was about if he took a look at his surprise. It's about you. Breaking news. Just this afternoon, Pro Heroes Samba the Sunflower was caught kissing. Roll the footage. Zuko's eyebrows frowned as he watched the whole scene unroll. It couldn't be true, could it? Lion had gotten out of her office unnoticed. She was going to have to say sorry to her coworker tomorrow. This wasn't the biggest worry about. Okay, where were we? What's the biggest worry though? Right now, the biggest worry was getting your name cleared. She headed to her apartment and pulled her stuff down alright. What should I do? By now, the public thinks Dasuk and I are dating. You rinsed your brain, trying to think of a solution. You looked at your phone as if it was going to give you ideas. All you saw, though, was 13 missing calls. 2 from Secretary, 5 from Sook, and 6 from Izuku. Damn, I almost forgot about him. Maybe I should go over to his place. You looked up at the clock. It was still too early for Zuko to be home. Guessing you decide he was going to be home in 30 minutes. Okay, before this makes a little post on my social to get my name cleared up, your hand turned your phone on to begin typing out an exclamation. You all deserved an exclamation. Sunflower and I are not dating, nor do I think we will in the future. I believe he had it in a whim and didn't mean it. For all I know, it could have been an accident. In a matter of minutes, comments were rushing in. I doubt it. Sunflower and she have been seen together a lot. These friend girls will not be happy. Guessing I never had a chance either way. A few were noticed. Understand. But the majority were doubting it. If only people could have seen me and Deku together. Your brain practically lit up as an idea came in. What if Zukwon made our relationship public? That way people would know. You first flew in the air in excitement. You decided to call Zuko up to see where he was. Ring ring. The phone rang for some reason. Ring ring. The phone rang for some time before the other end picked up. Zuko, where are you? I need to tell you something. Bet you do. His voice sounds cold and distant. Hey, are you okay? Where are you? I'm at home. Okay, I'll be there in a sec. YN, you ended the call and cut Zuko off. If it was something important, then he can tell me in person. You ran down the hall to Zuko's place and knocked on the door. Edgerly, you looked down at your stuff. Your suit was still on. You still hadn't gadget around your belt. You still had gadgets around your belt. Whatever. The door slightly opened to reveal Zuko's green hair. You determined to clear this whole mess up, went up. And I was apparent in your furrowed brow, and the lip pushed down on each other. Zuko, I don't know what you have seen so far, but I promise none of it's true. He reached for the back of his neck and sighed. You should explain yourself inside. He brought you in and sat you down with a cup of tea. So, he sat down. You can explain now. He activated you to not even be able to speak and be too nervous to try. But boy, was he wrong. Words kept spilling out of your mouth like a broken faucet. He couldn't make sense out of what you were saying. Whoa, slow down. I can't understand you. You looked up at him and furrowed your brows even more. Sunflower and I aren't dating, you steadily planting. Then why'd he kiss you? Even I didn't know. I haven't talked to him yet. So he likes you or something? Before he did, he whispered in your ear that he paused. Making Izuku curious that he loves me. Your head lowered in embarrassment. So we're saying you're completely innocent? You slowly nod your head yes. Then you should be ashamed if that donkey really did try to make a pass at my girl, then he needs to pay. Your head rise and meet his eyes. Hey, that rhymed. Don't do that. I'll make things more difficult. It'll make things difficult. Then what do we do? Your heart swallowed with joy. He said, we? I already tried making an explanation on my socials, but a lot of people still don't understand. Should we make this public? I thought it would have been better like that, but your choice. Okay, I'll handle it, so don't worry about it anymore. With that last statement, he gave a little smile. It make you feel better. Though his effort were futile, you still had a knot in your stomach. Chapter 14. Oh my god. The next day was still exhausting. You were juggling work, questions from coworkers, and of course the paparazzi. You wanted to go home and make a bunch of food. You didn't end up in food coma. It could end up being a bad idea, but whatever, it's food. The clock was ticking so slowly and seemed to be taunting you. Ugh, your head slumped over onto your desk. Owen? You looked up at the voice who was calling you. It was your secretary. What's up? Are you done sorting with the citizen complaints? Almost. I have a few more to go, though. He pointed to a file cabinet at nearly organized. Okay, I'll come back later. She shrugged away. So good. You forced a smile and slumped onto your desk once again. Let's make an escape. You got up with a whole bunch of energy and stealthy got out of the building through the window in your office. Once you got on the ground, you turned around and saw a face you wish you could forget. Hey, YN. Suk was in front of you, smiling. That signature smile of his. Usually it would also make you smile. But today, that was not the case. What's up? He said in a monotone voice. Want to go for lunch? No, I mean, I was going to go by myself. It's been very hectic because of someone. You stressed the last word, indicating that the someone was him. I want to explain myself. Then do it while we're walking. Oh, and please, disguise yourself somehow. You looked up at him with eyes that could cut with like daggers. If only look could kill. No problem. He put on best baseball cap and big sunglasses. Okay, start talking. I didn't mean to do that from publicity. No, I would never do something so shameful and stooped down to the level of those heroes who just do it for the money and fame. Your mind immediately thought of Mount Lady and Araka. Although Araka actually didn't want to help people, she mainly does it to support her family. No shame in that, but Mount Lady really does it for the fame and money. You might come back to your mind came back to Suk's constant rumbling. Which brings me to the conclusion that I really do love you. You always held a special place in this heart of mine. You stopped mind-went and looked up at him with furrowed brow. Remember that time? You remember back when it happened? Suk looked down at you and winked. He came closer to your face and whispered, "Please forgive me, Ryan, but I really do love you." Which made you widen your eyes. His face came crushing into yours and he kissed you. You pushed him away, not wanting to continue, not come. In the blur, it all had no paid much attention to what he said, but recalling the memory made you remember what he had said. Okay, Suk, did it. Whatever. But even so, I don't consent to it. And I know I didn't tell you this, but Zuko and I are dating. That's one on me, but you can't go kissing people. He was shocked. He wasn't shocked. He didn't know you were dating Zuko. And to make matters worse, he's the #1 hero. If this goes out, then all three of your reputation will come crumbling down. I guess I missed the train, huh? He chuckled a bit, trying not to sound so depressed. Yeah, I guess you did. You looked down at your feet because the situation was going awkward. It's okay, I'm fine. Let's just forget about it. Sound good? united in agreement. It would be best to forget about it. I have to go take care of things, alright? Catch you later. You watch Spain disappear into a nearby alley. You sighed in relief. Now that's out of the way. You continue making your way to get food. It only sounds like the best thing right now. Thoughts in your head were now swirling around everywhere. You felt bad for letting sink down, and you felt even worse that Zuko had taken up this whole matter. What's he gonna do? After a few days of paperwork and being scolded by your secretary of ditching work, you had made it home and decided to fulfill your dream by passing out and being in a food coma. You were making a lot of sorts of food, like ramen, dango, takoyaki, teriyaki, rice cakes, and anything else you could think of. The doorbell rang and you left your post to go check into who it was. Your mouth curled up in a smile after recognized the green hair. Uzu, you pounced on him and tried wrapping your arms around his body. He chuckled a bit and bent down and hugged you back. How's work? Same old. I was trying to keep focused, but you kept running it through my mind. Aren't your legs tired? You almost gagged at his cheeky pickup line. Oh God, Greedy, really? You giggled because even though he was dorky and awkward, it was still cute. Well, now that you're here, you want to pass out with me? He looked her over at the insane amount of food you made and was still making. As much as I could love to. I don't plan on dying because of overreacting. You stuck out your tongue and playful, and he did the same. Wow. Anyways, he changed the subject. I want you to come to an interview that I'm going to this weekend. I think that would be the best one yet. I don't really have anything to do this weekend. Sure. What would I do? You can sit backstage and watch the interview from there. He gave you puppy dog eyes, and damn, did it work. Okay, fine. You thought that was the perfect time to ask him if he could go show up at Yoi's. But you also have to come with me to Yoi's tomorrow. You offered him your biggest smile and even fluttered your eyelashes a bit. It means the butterfly with kisses. Fine. But won't be there long. I still have duties to attend to. He gave, and he could say no to you. Yes. Now don't owe Zawa any. Now I don't owe Zawa any lunch. You were dancing around the kitchen, celebrating your victory. Zuko loved how energetic you could get. You had to save up that energy for when his own thoughts came too embarrassing, so he swatted them away. Well, you turned around. You're gonna have to eat some. Even I can't eat this much before getting into food coma. Zuko chuckled. He went up behind you and hugged you while nesting his head into the crook of her neck. Of course, princess. I'm gonna read this black part. And you made up with Zuko, I guess. Maybe a little. I think my favorite part of making just choosing the pictures. I have come up with a good idea. Boys my age are immature and low-key now. Not my type. Older men. Oh man. Catch me getting a Honey, you are. So I guess that will be it. Here's a little sneak peek of the picture for chapter 15. Bye.